Good evening and welcome. When a loved one passes on, we all feel a sense of incomplete. We feel lost without them. We wish that every day we could see them. And that's what tonight's topic's all about. Loved ones visiting. We had a gentleman here last night who touched a lot of hearts and shared his experience, his emotions, his feelings. And so tonight, I'm here live, filming from the whānau room here in Wellington Hospital. What a great place to be filming about this topic in a hospital. A hospital is where you come to get healed, where sick people come. It's also a place where our loved ones pass on. So here's the question. Do they really pass on and leave us? I don't believe so. Hey Marie, how are you? Morning, Lynn, Brooke. Do they leave our sides? I don't believe so. Hey Janet. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to be as open as the gentleman was last night. If you've had an experience where your loved ones have visited you, I'd love to hear your experience. I'd love to hear your stories. Tonight we touch on about our loved ones passing on and visiting us. I know we've probably all got experiences of that we can share. I know we've all got experiences where we have lost someone so close to us that all we wish about is to be with them. I'd like to take this time to give a message out there to Mark Ellis, whose wife passed away suddenly. Mark, our thoughts and our prayers are with you and your family. I really don't know what words to say to you, Mark, but our condolences here from Paranormal Unity Live goes with you and your family. Last night was something special. Last night was something beautiful. And tonight I want to continue that feeling over into tonight's one. Hey Rachel, how you doing? Because I believe that it's good to bring it out. It's good to be open about it and to talk about our loved ones that have passed on. Hey Mum, who's right next door to me, who's just joined. I'd like to discuss about your loved ones that have passed. If you haven't had an experience of your loved ones passing on, then tell us about your feelings. Hey Diana, good to have you on board. Tonight it's time that we put the walls down, the tough images, the okay image, and really talk about, hey, you know what? I have had one of my loved ones here and I have seen my loved ones and this is what it, made me feel like. Or you can talk about, I've just lost a loved one and this is what I'm going through. You see, I lost my mum just over a year ago and I'm still coming to terms with it. Hey Gary, how you doing, my brother? Not a day doesn't go by that I don't think of my mum. Not a day doesn't go by that I talk to my mum. Not a day doesn't go by that I wish that either she was here with me or that I was there with her. And that's the way that I feel. But I know that my mum is with me every day. She makes me think of, and I know it's her that's making me do it. I think about the way she used to laugh, her smile, the way she looked, the way she growled me. I know that my mum is always with me. And a lot of people used to ask me when she passed on, "Hey, you alright? How you doing?" Rah, rah, rah. And I used to say, "Yeah, I'm sweet." That's because I had what I was feeling. And we all do it. Every single one of us. We hide behind that wall so it protects us. So nobody sees our pain. So nobody feels what we're going through. Hey Melissa, how you doing? And it's a human thing, ladies and gentlemen, it is. We all try to be tough about what we're feeling. And it's stupid. It's really silly to hide it. When people say that they're really there for you, to support you, to help you through your grief, take it. Take that offer. And that's what we're going to do here tonight. Those that have loved ones that have visited them before, I love to hear from you. I love to hear your experience. Those who are going through a tough time of missing their loved ones, tonight is your place. It's your time to be open about it. Everyone that's here, everyone that belongs to Paranormal Unity Live is here to support each other. We're a family in this room. And we also can be a family out of this room. You see, I have a brother in America. His name is Gary. And he knows I've got his back. Even though he lives there and I live here, if he ever needed me, I'd be there. I'd find a way. That's what family does. Had my auntie pass a week and a half ago. It was awesome to have had our family reunion last month and scattered my dad's ashes. It is hard. Yeah, Maria, it is. I bet you it was the hardest thing was to scatter your dad's ashes. Good to have a family reunion, but the feelings, the emotions, the upsets, the hurt, the pain. How does one deal with the pain? How does one deal with the hurt? I lost my grandma. She was more my mum. I wasn't there when she passed, and it not only hurts but makes me so angry that I wasn't. I miss her so much that I thought every day about suicide. That's all I wanted to do was to be with her. Thank God for my children. Thank God for my children. I've put up a wall since she passed and visited her daily. Now I talk to her photo. I also have her bed, and they're the only comforts that I have that brings me close to her. I miss her more than words. See, and this is where, and I thank you for that, Diana. This is where, the saying goes, you put the walls up. You learn to protect your heart. Yeah, you keep it bottled up inside you. Does it work? Does it work that people hide their pain? Does it really work? When I know that my mum visits because sometimes I smell her fragrance, the perfume that she used to wear. And I know sometimes she still growls at me from time to time. That's my experience of my loved ones visiting. When I was younger, I used to see a lot of my ancestors, my nan, my koro, and it was a normal thing for me. Hey Annie, how are you doing? But The pain that I was going through still hurts, still cuts like a knife. You see, my grandfather, he's been gone over 23 years now, Makoro. On my dad's side, and my dad's mum, she's been gone just over 18, nearly 19 years ago. And it only feels like yesterday for me, because that's how close I was to them. They meant the world to me. Yeah, I've lost family and I've lost friends over the years. And you tend to hide their pain, you tend to hide what you're going through until you have a breakdown. Janet, you say when I had a breakdown, the real people I needed to talk to that would have listened to me without judgment have all passed. It was hard, and it is hard. Hey Kelly, how you doing? It is hard, it's very hard. So who do you talk to? Who can you actually go to, ladies and gentlemen, to cry? And I mean not just shed a few tears, but to actually cry, to really bawl your bloody eyes out. Who do you turn to? Are there anybody that you can? And that's the hardest part. Hey, Leah Ross, how you doing? Good to see you, Miss Ross. And it's hard because you tend to think, well, I've got no one to talk to. I've got no one to cry to. I've got no one to share my pain. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, there's a cop out. And it is. You know, we build it up and we build it up and we build it up, and we miss our loved ones every day. Every single day. And the more we build it up, the more we want to be with them. And the more we want to be with them, the more that ugly thought of suicide comes out. Is it worth it? Is killing yourself the last point of desperation where you think you have no one, that you just want to be with your loved ones and that's it? Well, I know for a fact, everybody, that your loved ones never left you. They don't. You know in your hearts that your loved ones have never left you. Diana, I want to get a tat that resembles her, but I'm too chickened. Well, Diana, the only advice that I can give to you for that one is ask her. Ask her for her blessing. Ask her for her permission. And you know if you'll get it, because I tell you what, if you get her permission, nothing will stop you from doing it. Not even feeling chickened. Janet, you say, yep, been there. I know how they feel and how down you can actually go. Yeah, so do I, Janet. So do I. I thought about it many a times. Fact is that I know that if I had done that stupid act, if I had done what I wanted to do, and if I had succeeded, would I have seen my loved ones on the other side? I don't think I would have. I think I would have gone to another place where they aren't. I don't think I would have even got the opportunity to see them. Maybe I would have got the opportunity once I took that last breath, but it would have been the opportunity of seeing that sadness in their eyes, that look of disappointment. Tonight is a night where we can share our experiences of losing a loved one. And this is where it's open to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is an open forum where I want you to speak out, where it's time that you took a stand where you admit about your feelings of what you went through when you lost someone so dear to you that you loved so much that you couldn't bear that pain. And I want you at the end of your quarter or your talk to know that the people that you shared your experience with, that you shared your emotions with, that you shared your feelings with, are here to support you, to hold you up. That's what we're here for. Kata Edmonds, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. So this is where it's all about you, ladies and gentlemen. Pull the walls down tonight, even if it's just for one night. Let those walls down. Share your experiences with us. Share your emotions with us. It's that deep, dark pit that you can't see the way out of. And no matter how much you scratch, you feel like you're not getting anywhere. If I took my life, Grandma would not have been happy. She's always said it's all about family, but yeah, there you go. It is about family. You know what, Diana? Suicide, what I realised, because, I can't deny it, I've been down that road. And it was the most ugliest road that I ever had to endure. Hey D, welcome. Glad you could be here. And it was the most darkest time of my life. Now I shared something that I haven't shared with anybody in my life, and I shared it last night thanks to a gentleman who opened up to us all here. So I'll tell you about my experiences and why it took me down that dark road and what dark road I'm talking about. When I was young, I was madly in love, as you do when you're young, and I'd been with this girl for quite a number of years. And I was in the army at the time. I came home and I wanted to go out. She didn't, because some of the boys that I'd been in service with down south was back home far and as well. So she agreed, but I'd already had it planned anyway what I was going to do. So the night was cool, and I got down on one knee and I asked her to marry me. I was going to do the right thing because I wanted to share my whole life with her. Well, that night she also gave me a surprise that she had been hiding from me and was trying to find the right time for it. And she told me that she was pregnant with our very first child. So we decided that we were going to go home and just celebrate it together, just us two. Just go home, crack a bottle, and just let it be her and I. We weren't driving at the time, we were being driven back into town, and when we came out to the main road, the driver went to go turn off, and out of nowhere, this drunk driver hit us side on. Car rolled a few times, and she died in my arms, which I didn't realize until the the ambulance came and the police came, and they took her out of my arms. I lost everything that night. Until the police turned up and the ambulance guys turned up, I kept telling her that everything was going to be okay, that we're all going to be fine. Right there and then, when I knew that she was gone, my whole world died. And I didn't want to live without her. didn't. The drunk driver lost his license for a year. Got a 2-year imprisonment. And that's all he got. Whereas I got a lifetime. I ended up doing life. And I drank myself to an oblivion. Every day I drank. Every night. Darkest moment was when I actually woke up in an alcoholics rehab. And I didn't know how I got there. I couldn't even remember the night before. Someone found me in the middle of the road and thought I needed help. Well, they went far from it, but all I wanted to do, ladies and gentlemen, was end it. I wanted to be with her. I wanted to be with my unborn child. It took me years and years to crawl my way back into living. It's hard when you feel you have nothing. It's even harder when you feel you have no one to talk to. But that's where I was wrong. I had friends that I pushed away. I had family that I pushed away. All because I really believed that no one could understand what I was going through, but I was wrong. I still think of her to this day. She's never far from my mind. Never far from my mind. I have children of my own now. And I wouldn't give them up for the world. Now then, when I lost my mum, that was hard just like that, but I realized I had family this time around. I realized that I had friends this time around that I could talk to. But yet, I kept that wall up, just like we do. I hid my emotions. I hid the pain that I was going through. And it wasn't until last night that someone so special could come here on Paranormal Unity and talk to us about what he was going through, what he was experiencing. And as soon as I went off live, I just bawled my eyes out. I was so emotional, it wasn't funny. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we can talk about paranormal topics. We can talk about spirits. We can talk about UFOs. We can talk about so many topics pertaining to the paranormal, but the one topic that we never ever tried to do, I guess, until last night, is about our loved ones visiting. It's about the pain that we endure, it's the pain that we hold inside and we shouldn't. I spent years suffering, and yet I didn't have to. No one has to suffer because we lose loved ones. No one has to hide their pain because they think that we have no one to talk to. There are so many people out there that are willing to listen. And I know I was told today not to mention this person's name that brought all of this out, but Michael, thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you did last night. Because this needs to be talked about, this needs to be touched on. For those of us who have loved ones that have gone before us that we still can't let go, that we can't stop hurting, that the pain is so bad, there are people out here that are willing to listen. You've just got to open. You've just got to open up. Just talk. Because I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, when you get to the point where you have come to that dark road and you know in yourself that you've got nowhere else to go, your last point is that you want to join your loved ones. Do you really believe for 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, that your loved ones want you to do it? That your loved ones want you to end your life so you could be with them? Because if that's what you really believe in your heart and in your mind and in your soul, then something is seriously wrong with you, because I know for a fact that they don't want you to. That they don't want you to end your life because you miss them. They don't want for you to end your life because you're hurting. You know, we need to think, because our loved ones have passed on, you think that they don't feel. I believe without a doubt that they do. Do you think for 1 minute that our loved ones don't watch over us? Well, guess what? They do. Do you think that they want to watch over you take your own life because you didn't have the guts to open up your mouth and let it all out? To just cry, to release. There are people out there, ladies and gentlemen, that are ready and waiting to listen to you, to put their arms around you, to let you know that it's going to be okay. Our loved ones are always here. Always. They have never left us. They will never, ever, ever lose us. The only time, and I got this told to me by an awesome guy, you know, someone that I hold dear to my heart, the only time that you should really cry for your loved ones, that you should really, really cry for your loved ones, is when you actually forget them. You know, you probably say, well, if I'm crying for them, how do I forget them? Simple. Think this: the most loved one that you love with all your heart, can you remember what they look like? Can you remember what their laugh sounded? Can you remember what their smile looked like, the glow in their eyes when they were happy? Can you remember that? Because if your answer is no, I can't, that is when you should be crying, because you've actually forgotten them. Hey, Chase, nice to see you here. Gordon, good to see you. That is the only time that you should cry, is when you have actually forgotten what they look like, what they sounded like, the way they talk, their voice, everything about them. Oh, I believe so, Michael. I really believe that your wife is watching you right now. And I believe that she still enjoys the company. And I believe that she still loves you. And I believe that she probably laughs at some silly things that you do or say, like she probably did when she was alive. Thank you for coming, Dee. Love you heaps. That is the only time, ladies and gentlemen, that you should cry is when you can't remember. You can sit there and I could say to you, okay, top of my head, Moringa, your mum, can you tell me exactly what she looked like? And you go, yep. And then I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And then you come back and you go, no, I can't remember what she looked like. Well, what about her smile? No, I can't remember that at all. Can you remember anything of your mother? No. That's when you should cry, ladies and gentlemen. That's when you should really cry, is when you forget them. But when you can remember them, their laughter, their smile, the way they looked, even the smell of their perfume, the silly things that they used to say that made you laugh, is when you should smile, is when you should sit there and laugh. I mean, me and my children, we laugh about my mum and how she used to ground me, the way she used to ground me. You know, the things that she used to say. I remember everything about my son, even though he was 4 days old when he died. He has been very active in our lives as spirit. See, now that's beautiful, Rachel. 4 days old when he passed. 4 days old, ladies and gentlemen, and she can still remember. 4 days old, and Rachel still remembers. And she even says that he's still active in their lives. She would be nagging me, but I miss her nagging me. Yeah, I miss my mum's nagging at me too there, Michael. The thing is this, when we remember, they have never left us. When we talk out loud to them, they have never left us. When we sit there and sometimes we read the newspaper or we read a magazine and we say something about it, I can picture my mum looking at me as if to say, and you care about it because, or you're worried about it because, or sometimes she used to say when I used to read the newspaper, oh, bloody idiots. And she'd look at me and go, how do you know? Do you know them? You know, I still remember those type of things. Why? Because she has never left me. Well, Michael, I'm glad that I'm making you smile because it's actually true. You know, you say that you miss her nagging, but I bet you anything you still hear her. I bet you anything, you know, you could be sitting in your home right now and you could have done something, and I can guarantee you probably would have stopped and paused for a bit and go, yeah, you know what? You're right. Or, oh, here we go again. You know, and then you turn around and you think no one is there and your smile drops. You know what, Michael, when you hear that, when you feel it, don't stop smiling, my friend, because you know what, she's there. And that's what I really believe. I'm not just saying that because I'm a host of a paranormal live feed or I'm a founder of a paranormal page. I'm saying it because it's true. Hey, Anahita, great to see you here. Yes, I remember my adoptive and biological mum's smiles and laughter, etc. They both died the same year during the time I was going through a divorce. When you forget, that is the only time that your heart should be really broken. Diana, you say it's the memories that keep them alive. They always draw close, especially when you need them the most. I believe they visit you or in your dreams as well. I believe that my mum comes to me in my dreams from time to time. I believe that she's always around me. And this is how I know, okay? And this is a true story. And me and my sister still laugh about it. When my mum passed on, now we'll go back before she passed on, she used to always ring me up on my birthday. And like I'm 46 this year, she'd say, "Oh, happy 48th or happy 50th." And I'd go to her, "Mum, I ain't that old." And she'd laugh, even though I knew she was teasing me. And on the day of my birthday this year, I said, "Well, Mum, it's not going to be the same." Sorry. I said, "It's not going to be the same, Mum, because I'm not going to hear your phone call. I'm not going to hear that cheeky laughter. So, I need a sign to know that you're still with me." And without a lie, ladies and gentlemen, my older sister Bernie's rung, and she said exactly the same things that my mum would have said. You say, "How old are you this year, bro?" 48, and she laughed. And I just cracked up laughing. And she said, "Yep. What's funny?" I said, "You know what? Every year, Mum used to ring me and say the same thing. She used to double up."
Hang on, Mum. Where's the petrol lever in the thing on?
What?
Petrol lever.
There isn't. You pop the lid. You just pull the lid open.
You just pull the lid open.
And that's when I knew that my mum was still with me, because my sister very rarely rang me up and just said happy birthday, but for some unknown reason this year, she rings me up and she goes, happy birthday, bro." So how old are you? 48. And I cracked up laughing. That was a sign from my mum, and I knew that. I knew that. Because that was something that me and my mum shared every year without fail. I was just surprised that Mum didn't feel like she was around the way I had thought or imagined she would do, but as time goes by, I think she is here somehow, just not as I had expected. Glenda, it's like this: when you can remember your mum, like you could be sitting, so like at your kitchen table or out in your garden or just sitting in your lounge, and all of a sudden something pops up that reminds you of what your mum used to say. That is when your mum is there. A song could pop up on the radio, and all of a sudden you go, "You know what? That song, my mum used to like that song. That's weird. This radio station never plays these type of songs." It's little things like that that let you know that they are there with you. Now, my adopted mum, who's here up at the Wellington Hospital, she's had many experiences of her whānau visiting. And I'm going to ask her to come and talk to you guys about her experiences and that she can share with you. So I'd like to introduce my adopted mum, Kath Downey. Come on, mother.
Oh. Right, paper hanger. Well, hopefully by this time tomorrow I mightn't have to have this damn patch on my eye. Anyway, strange occurrences. As a child, I had an auntie who was desperately ill. And my mother and I were out at the clothesline. And Mum said to me, "Hey, look at the clouds." So I looked up at the clouds, and there was one great big cloud, and it literally, and the smaller one underneath, it literally pulled apart in the middle, and the small one in the shape of an angel went through the gap and it closed again. Mum looked at her watch. She went inside, rang her auntie, and it was the exact time the other aunt had died. That's one thing. Then one time I was living alone. My partner was in a rest home. And all I wanted to do was cry, and I didn't know why. So I actually rang John. And he was not living at my place then. And I told him how I felt. And he said, I know why you're crying. And I said, well, tell me. He said, your mother is with me. She'd been gone quite a few years by this stage. And I said, what do you mean? He said, she's sitting beside me on my bed. There is something you never said before she died. I still, really? Can't think what that might be. There was something she wanted to hear. Anyway, that was all right. And I said, but yeah, but why am I crying? He said, you won't be in a minute. She's left my side and she will be beside you very shortly. He said, there's a chair in your lounge that she used to sit in. I want you to sit in it. So I sat in Mum's chair, and I might have been there maybe 1 minute, and all of a sudden I was warm. And it was as if arms were around me. Anyway, I said, okay, Mum, you think there's something I forgot to say before you passed? And all of a sudden it actually hit me what it was, even though a few minutes before I hadn't a clue. I said, Mum, I could never say goodbye because it was too final. But I did say, see you later. And from there on, everything was sweet. Mum still comes back every now and again. But another strange one of how people return. My partner was in the rest home. And John's auntie was in there as well. They had in previous years been drinking partners. But in the rest home, they were smoking mates. And they'd always go for a smoke outside together. Well, Jenny passed away about 6 months before my partner did. And after she'd gone, I went up to see Doug one day and he said, oh, Jenny came today. I said, oh, really? Yeah. She was sitting on my bed. And he'd been sitting on his bed reading a book on a little table in front of him. And he said, I saw the bed dead down. And he said, and then she dug me in the ribs because she wanted me to go out and have a smoke with her. So I did. And a few days later, he said, oh, bloody Jenny. I said, why, what now? Well, she told me to go out and have a smoke. And I told her to wait a while until I'd finished a certain thing that he was doing. And she says she dug him in the ribs again and he still didn't move. And beside him on his right was his walker. The door to his room was diagonally opposite on the left-hand side, and his walker moved to the door. So he said I had to get up and get my walker again. So I went out and had a bloody smoke with her. So they do come back in all sorts of different ways. John was also talking about suicide. We'll touch on that a little bit. You know, people do it, as they seem to say, to be with their loved ones. There can also be other reasons. My partner had had major surgery where he only had a 5% chance of coming through it. But he took that option because, as he said, it would be great to die under anaesthetic. It'd be peaceful. He came through that odd. He apparently died 3 times on the table, but he came round, they brought him round again. Then a few months later, I had to have an op. Had my teeth out. And lo and behold, mine, which was a simple op, turned to crap. After that, I was up with Doug one day before I went to work, and I said, "Oh, hey mate," I said, "can you answer me a question?" And he said, "What's that?" I said, "Did you fight while you were under anaesthetic to come back? Because you know you did die 3 times. He said, "Yes, I did." I said, "Well, why, when you actually did want to pass away?" He said, "I didn't want to see you left alone." The mind does shocking things. I then went to work. A little bit of shit went down and I lost the plot. So I was sent home from my job. And I said, "Well, bugger the lot of you, I'll go home and kill myself." "Oh yeah, you wouldn't do that sort of thing," as people say. So I went home. John at that stage was living with me. He asked me why I'd come home. So I told him. He said, "Go up to your bedroom, Mum, lie down, have a rest." So I went up to my room and I thought everything was going through my mind like a big jumble. Now, Dad said he didn't want to leave me alone, but he also wanted to be out of pain. So what if I go first? That gives him a chance to follow. So I tried suicide. Luckily, it was caught in time. It was cardiac arrest going out the street, but I survived it. But my idea wasn't to go and be with him. It was to get him to want to go to the other side. We lasted another, 3 years after that, John? Another 3 years before he did pass away. So I will now, those are my little stories, so I will now pass you back to John.
Hey everyone. So there you go. When I hear the song Buffalo Soldier or any Bob Marley songs, the radio always goes up. I know it's my sister straight away. So, you know, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. I attempted a few times, a couple of almost have succeeded. If you feel that you need to be with your loved ones, you need to think again, because they're there, they're with you. They've never left, and they never will. But the best place that your loved ones are always in is right there in your heart, right there. Okay, John, what if you have lost hope in everything and everyone, and you have or had a partner who you're losing trust and hope, and you feel like you're totally alone? Well, you're not alone. That's the thing. No one is alone. Okay, don't ever think that you are alone, because you're not. When you feel that you're alone, it's only because that's all you see, and you're not. If you feel that you're alone, it's because you want to be alone. The thing is this: when people lose their loved ones, all they think about is that they can't live without them. Thing is, we're not living without our loved ones. Our loved ones are there, always. They have never left us. They never will leave us. And that's the thing, we always assume, always, that when our loved ones have passed on, all we want to do is be with them, because we can't handle the pain, because we can't handle the suffering. We can't bear to be without them. The fact of the matter is, our loved ones are there with us every single day. Every single day, they are with us. They never leave us. Oh, yeah, true, Mum. Years ago, here's one for you. Years ago, I was in a wheelchair and living at Mum's house, and my single bed was out in the lounge. Now, I had the doorbell remote, and she had the bell in her room, and she said, buzz me if you ever need me, and I'll come down and check up on you. And I said, cool, thank you. I literally watched my blankets being tucked in to the point I couldn't even move. Okay, so you know what? Our loved ones are there to look after us as well. So don't think for 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, that our loved ones have gone. Our loved ones will never ever leave, ladies and gentlemen, and that is being honest and that is being truthful. The only time that our loved ones will leave us is when we forget them. is when we are no longer able to remember what they looked like, what they sounded like, what their laughs sounded like. We keep forgetting, ladies and gentlemen, that our loved ones live within us, right here. Right here. If you ever need to talk, there are people out there that are there to listen. I want to thank you all tonight for sharing with me. I want to thank my mum for sharing her experiences with you. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for being you. Michael, you started this ball rolling, and I'm grateful that you did. And I thank you so much for it. I want to thank those that have actually spoken out. Rachel, you say the saddest thing when I was a funeral director was seeing the suicide cases come in and the families that were left behind with no answers. They carry guilt and anger, plus the what ifs, hard for those left behind. And that's very true. That's very true. I think about that all the time, Rachel, to be honest. What if I had succeeded back then, all those years ago? What if I had done the job right? What would my family have endured, gone through? Like you said, the family, they carry the guilt, the anger, and the what ifs. There are people out there, people that will listen, good people, understanding people. You're not alone in your suffering. You're not alone in your pain. If you need someone to reach out, we are here. We are here always. Those who know me personally know how to reach out to me. Those who don't, you know to message me on here. I will always be here. Same with my admins, and I can guarantee same with all the members that are in Paranormal Unity. So we've come to that time again, ladies and gentlemen, where we're at the end of our show, but I'd like to thank you all for sharing. Michael, Mordinger, Diana, Rachel, Janet, you know, all those that have shared their experiences, every single one of you, I thank you tonight from the bottom of my heart. Don't forget, I promise you, you need someone, we're here. Just reach out. That's all you need to do, is just reach out. Until tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, have a good night, and stay paranormal. I'm John, your host, Paranormal Unity Life, live in Wellington, the capital of our beautiful country, New Zealand.